Staples. That's what's holding your dream caravan together behind that beautiful glossy finish. Not the aircraft-grade engineering the brochure whispered about. Not the loving craftsmanship the salesman leaned on when he said the magic word, handcrafted. Staples and glue, the same two things holding together a set of flat-pack shelves from the hardware store. And here's the part that'll really get you. On a huge number of vans sold in this country right now, that's not a defect. That's the design. It's a method the trade calls stick and staple, a timber frame with aluminum cladding tacked over it, held together primarily with glue and staples, and it's been the backbone of Australian caravan building for the best part of a century. Now, I want to be fair from the very start, because I always am. Stick and staple is not automatically bad. Built properly, by a good manufacturer who seals it right, it can serve you well for years. Plenty of quality vans are made this way. The problem isn't the staples. The problem is the lie wrapped around them. The problem is a six-figure van sold with words like handcrafted and composite and premium, when underneath the paint, it's the cheapest, fastest construction method in the business, dressed up to look like something it isn't. Today I'm pulling the pretty vinyl wrap off the caravan industry and showing you what your luxury van is actually made of, why the word handcrafted is doing an enormous amount of heavy lifting, and the specific marketing tricks used to make cheap construction sound expensive. And this isn't me guessing. It's built on what caravan repairers see when they cut these walls open every single day, on industry insiders calling out the deception in their own words, and on the plain physics of timber, glue, and water. I'm Liam. I'm 50. No badge loyalty, nobody paying me a cent. Before we get into it, hit subscribe, because understanding this before you buy could save you from a very expensive mistake. Right, let's pull the wall apart. Let's start with what handcrafted actually means, because it's the first word I want you to be suspicious of. In the car world, nobody calls a Corolla handcrafted. They call it engineered, precision-built, robotically assembled, because in manufacturing, machine-built usually means consistent and reliable. So why does the caravan industry reach for handcrafted? Because it sounds warm. It sounds like a master craftsman lovingly shaping your van. But flip it over. Handcrafted can also mean assembled by hand, on a jig, by workers with a glue gun and a staple gun, to a construction standard that hasn't fundamentally changed in 50 years. Handcrafted isn't a quality guarantee. It's a vibe. And in plenty of cases, it's quietly telling you the exact opposite of what you think it is. That there's no advanced tooling, no precision machinery, no vacuum-bonded panels, just hands, glue, and staples. Now let me show you what's under that cladding, because this is where it gets real. In a classic stick and staple van, you've got a timber frame, usually Meranti, which is a lightweight tropical hardwood. Foam insulation gets popped between the frame sections. Ply lines the inside. Ribbed aluminum sheet goes over the outside. And the whole lot is glued and stapled and screwed together, then sealed along the joins with silicone. That's it. That's the box you're towing your family around Australia in. And here's why the trade has a love-hate relationship with it. It's cheap, it's quick, it's relatively strong when new, and it's easy to repair because any competent workshop can cut into timber and fix it. Those are genuine upsides, and I won't pretend otherwise. But the downsides are exactly where the horror stories come from. And there are two big ones you need burned into your memory before you sign anything. Stay with me, because the second one is the one that quietly totals vans. The first downside is rot. Timber has one mortal enemy, water, and a caravan is essentially a timber box covered in dozens of joins, every one of them sealed with silicone. Here's the catch nobody at the sales desk mentions. Every sealant on Earth has a shelf life. The silicone holding the water out of your van will not last forever. It dries, it shrinks, it cracks, especially under our brutal sun. And the moment it fails, on a van that flexes and moves every time you tow it, water finds its way in. In plain language, it's not a question of if the seals age, it's when. And with a timber frame, the clock is always ticking on that reseal. Quick favor before I show you the second, nastier problem. If this is making you look at that glossy showroom van a bit differently, tap the like button. It genuinely helps push this in front of other buyers before they sign. Cheers. On we go. The second downside is the one that makes this so insidious, and it's about how the damage hides. When water gets into a stick and staple van, it soaks into the timber frame. And here's the cruel bit. You often won't see a thing until the timber has become completely saturated and started to rot. By the time the stain or the soft spot or the smell shows up on the inside, the frame behind it can be well gone. And because water travels, the damage can appear at the complete opposite end of the van from where the leak actually started. Add in the corrugations, and it gets worse. The repairers who cut these vans open will tell you that over time and movement, the joins and the staples themselves can loosen and work their way free, which weakens the structure and opens up fresh paths for water. A timber-framed box, held with staples, being shaken down a dirt road, is a van slowly working itself apart in ways you cannot see from the driver's seat. Now, here's where the honest construction talk tips over into genuine deception, and this is the heart of it. There's a newer magic word the industry loves even more than handcrafted, and that word is composite. Real composite construction is a genuinely good thing. A true composite van uses sandwich panels, an inner skin, an outer skin, and a foam core, all laminated into one rigid piece, with little or no timber frame at all. No frame to rot, no staples to loosen, water can't soak into it. That's the real deal, and it costs real money to build. But, and this is straight from the mouths of people inside the industry, a lot of vans are being spruiked as composite when they are nothing of the sort. One industry figure described the trick plainly. It's textured plywood on the inside, stapled to a timber frame, with bits of expanded polystyrene shoved between the frame, and a thin 3mm sheet clad over the outside. Externally, a smooth-sided van like that can look almost identical to a genuine sandwich panel van. Peel back the layers, and it's the same old stick and staple with a fancier jacket and a fancier name. Same insider compared it to the old days when builders slapped a fully insulated sticker on the side of a van when it plainly wasn't. Let me put that in plain language. You can walk onto a lot, see a smooth, modern, so-called composite luxury van, pay a premium believing you've dodged the timber and staples problem entirely, and drive home with exactly that problem, just better disguised. That's not craftsmanship. That's marketing wearing craftsmanship as a costume. So there it is, the handcrafted lie, laid out. Handcrafted, a warm word that can quietly mean built by hand with glue and staples to a decades-old standard. Stick and staple, a cheap, fast timber frame method that's fine when it's built and sealed well, and a rot-prone time bomb when it isn't. And composite, a genuinely superior method whose good name is being borrowed by vans that don't deserve it. My honest takeaway, and it's the same one I always give. None of this means every stick-built van is junk, and it doesn't mean you must spend a fortune on full composite. A well-built, well-sealed timber-framed van from an honest maker can serve a family beautifully for years, and it'll be easy to repair when it needs it. The point isn't the staples. The point is that you deserve to know what you're actually buying, so the marketing can't charge you luxury money for hardware store construction. So do this. Ask the salesperson, straight, is this a timber frame, an aluminum frame, or full composite sandwich panel? Ask what holds the frame together. Ask them to show you a cutaway or a spec sheet and watch how they react, because an honest builder will be proud to tell you, and a dodgy one will reach for a magic word. If they say composite, ask if the walls are true laminated sandwich panels with no timber frame or just cladding over a frame. And whatever you're told, get an independent pre-purchase inspection and a moisture meter over every join before you hand over a cent. Have you cut open a van and found something the brochure never mentioned? Are you a repairer who sees this every week? Or did you buy Handcrafted and find out the hard way what it meant? Drop your stories in the comments. All of them welcome, the good builds and the horror shows. If this helped, give it a like. Hit subscribe for more straight-shooting Aussie advice, and I'll see you in the next one. Drive safe, and always look under the cladding before you fall for the label.